Corbin Carroll's getting drilled. Kevin Ginkel's ERA is somehow getting higher. Ryan Thompson nearly got his head taken off. And the Dbacks, they go down 8-1. It's never been more over, Johnny Venerable.
Is the Dbacks season on the break and could be major changes on the horizon? PHNX Dbacks starts now. Hey, welcome in, Dbacks! I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Bo Brock. The Snakes drop their second consecutive series. Toronto hangs in 8 spots on the visiting Diamondbacks, 8-1. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming here. This is your premier Diamondbacks podcast. We thought, Bo Brock, that the Snakes, we thought they were back after their 5-game winning streak. They have now dropped 3 in a row, including their second consecutive series. Where do the Diamondbacks go from here, my guy?
Man, I mean, your signature Dbacks Open couldn't even get me back on the right track. It was a rough one out there in Toronto as the Dbacks imploded again, 8-1. Less heartbreaking, I guess I'll give them credit, than last night after getting walked off. A little bit more of a laugher as the Blue Jays, they put one on them, right? And then we get a little scare at the end there with Corbin Carroll getting drilled in the hand. Hopefully everything's okay. We'll get some more information, as we do here on the PHNX Dbacks podcast. You're used to getting it as your number one top source for all the Snakes. But, I mean, why am I taking all the time when we got Mr. Snake here, Johnny Venerable, breaking it down?
Eduardo Rodriguez, I've seen enough. 32 years old, huge fraud here. An ERA almost getting to the point. I mean, this is unfortunate for Eduardo. Like you're rooting for him every time he goes out there. It's just unfortunate, just non-competitive tonight. I know you were harping on the bullpen in the cold open, but I'm going to tell you right now that the Diamondbacks have a root problem of starting pitching. We've seen it. Yes, it's due to injuries, but now, I mean, you lose that game yesterday. There's such a thing as momentum here in sports, Major League Baseball. There was a carryover effort. And speaking of effort, it wasn't there by the pitching staff. And unfortunately, that lack of effort was contagious by a lineup tonight that mustered a mere 6 hits against the Toronto staff that, let's be honest, has been vulnerable. You've got Marte, going hitless tonight. That was unfortunate. You need him to be the table setter. This needed to be a game where you wanted to get maybe Randall Grichuk going as the DH, getting people on ducks on the pond, if you will. Didn't see that come to fruition either. Just a lackluster game if you're a D-backs fan.
6 hits, 6 damn hits. That's all they're able to muster against the Toronto pitching staff. And you're right, Erod comes out, and it's a carbon copy of the 9th inning last night. Bo Bichette goes deep, just barrels one off the second-year starter for the D-backs and Eduardo Rodriguez. Yeah, it was ugly, man. I mean, it's the tale of 2 different losses for the D-backs. Last night, they go into the 9th with the lead and they lose, they get walked off. And then today it just it wasn't close enough because you didn't get a good effort really any part of your ball club tonight, Johnny.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because you felt like where the Diamondbacks were earlier this year, they were swept in Cincinnati. They had bad series losses against the Nationals and the Pirates. And then they put together, they're such a streaky team. And unfortunately, you're looking for clarity if you're D-backs ownership, the front office, ahead of the trade deadline. And every time you think, oh, maybe this team's going to be worth investing in as we get toward the brink of the midpoint here. I mean, we're almost halfway through this thing. It's like they take a downturn, right? This is a very disheartening series right now. I know they're on the road. I know Toronto's competitive in the AL East. But for me, as a Diamondbacks fan, I watch this and I'm like, just don't have the magic this year. You can't rely on this team every year to make a second half run. We saw that last year. Wasn't good enough. And I'm looking at this team right now and I'm thinking to myself, like, I think they'd be best served selling off a bunch of these key vets that are over 30 years old, and retooling for 2026.
You want to become sellers, even though, they want to become buyers
I
a
mean,
little
Bo,
bit.
they're 8.5 games out in a loaded NL West. I mean, they're firmly behind San Diego and San
Look, you
Francisco.
going in the regular season, you're it's a long shot to compete for the division because the Dodgers and all that damn spending that they've got going on, that you're going to be competing for a wild card spot. So, I mean, you're probably, where you expected to be. You get on a run here, you get hot, maybe you get some good starting pitching, but the bullpen continues to be just unwatchable. You turn on the game and you see a pitcher come in out of the pen, and you basically, like, you have no confidence at all that they can get it out. Kevin Ginkel came in with an ERA north of 12, and it went up. Somehow it went up. Kevin Stinkle. I say it all the time on this show. It's Kevin Stinkle now. There's no other name to call the guy. I know we talk about it all the time, but it's over. It's unfortunate. And, we've got, of course, our beloved producer, Damon. Dog never win anything. He's a fixture of this program, as we are, as the hosts of it.
Hold the line, baby.
Yeah. I know Ginkel's your guy, but can we even defend the guy anymore?
It's over.
No.
Kevin Ginkel, it's over. I'm ready to close the book on that one.
Man.
And it hurts to say it, but because the memories we shared together, but it's just done.
Yeah, his arm's gonna fall off. 13.50 ERA. That's I mean, are we talking about a guy that you're gonna maybe consider DFAing at the end of the year? Do you just put him on injured reserve? To me, it's like you cut your loss. Anybody else, please. I mean, the Diamondbacks have a negative point differential of negative 13 runs, and you're sitting here people are telling me like, hey, they just stick it out. Let's keep going. It's like, no, I want to evaluate AAA. I want to get some young players up here and see what we have for the course. I'm being serious, for the course of the second half of this season. I don't want to watch Kevin Ginkel and his 13 ERA in the second half of this year. I've seen it now. It's too much. If I'm going to lose, I'm going to use with young players, not 31-year-old Kevin Ginkel.
This is up there just throwing just balls that are smoked all over the field. It's a tough watch. It's unfortunate. Like Justin Martinez done for the season. AJ Puck, it's not looking good. Is this bullpen actually more shambles than it has in the previous two seasons? It's quite possible. But man, looking at the chat out there, obviously leave a like here on PHNX Dbacks. And drop a comment on where you think the biggest issue is. We got what's up, Jay Cuddy, Killer Rex, about Maze Devil. There we go. I mean, I know Maze Devil. I know Maze. We're here all the time. We're the hosts of this show, Damon. We got Michael B. Jordan. We got Piece of Yoshi. Sean, Groundhog Mama. I love it. That's a great name. Owen, what's going on? Owen's feet from me right now, but also in the chat. So can you, Kevo?
You're wasting premium years from Suarez. Corbin Carroll's bouncing back with big time power numbers this year. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, for what? For 75 to 80 wins max right now? Suarez, to me, 33 years old, 21 bombs, 58 RBIs, like clear dangle piece at the deadline. Get some use, get some guys that are going to be ready to contribute early next year. Those are we need to start, and we will, like we always do here at PHNX Dbacks. We're going to compile a list of our veterans that I'm going to be just call a spade, just like we say on the PHNX Suns show. Like these players, I'm done losing with vets. I'm done losing with guys. They've got a pedigree. Baseball's a little bit more individualized with their statistics, as everybody here in the chat knows, all 44 of you. To me, it's like, are you winning anything with these players this year? And again, you still got time. I'm not going to say I'm throwing in the towel, Bo, but these are the kind this team is just way too streaky. Like, do you have any confidence right now that they can string together like 4 or 5 series wins in a row? Because I have my doubts.
No, not with this bullpen.
No
you can
chance.
go get the quality start out there. It's one of your favorite statistics. You talk about it all the time. You're a big QS guy. When somebody goes in there and they throw 6 innings and give up 3 or less runs, you're all about that. But unless this offense puts up a crooked number, even when they do, you have zero confidence that they're going to be able to slam the door shut. So what you're saying, Suarez, dangle him at the trade deadline, maybe make room for Lawler to come in, play a little third base, little hot corner the rest of the year. You get to an extended look at the young man and maybe hopefully get some power arms in that bullpen, because by God, I'm tired of watching guys go out there and just get shelled one inning after inning, just watching guys just get teed off on.
Yeah. I mean, are there any pieces, Damon, right now that you would dangle from the starting lineup of note? Like, obviously, you're not going to look at a trade of a Marte or a Corbin Carroll, but are there guys on the radar like you're at the point right now? Because I don't know if this bullpen is fixable without an influx of prospects coming in at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't have the farm system right now, really, to compete with top-level trade packages, but they have a lot of guys on one-year deals. I mean, whether you want to get rid of those guys, Josh Naylor, Gino Suarez, as you mentioned earlier, as well as Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen, but, and you could get a haul for these players, but do you want to give up on the team like that and send that message to the locker room? That's the problem, right? Because you still got to play half a season.
I mean, that's the blessing and the curse of a baseball season that's 162 games. And we say it every night when we do these post-game shows, Bo. It's like you want to believe that your team at the end of the day has the gumption to turn this around, right? Like the Diamondbacks are just a game under 500. Like they're not out of it. But we need to see, I mean, how many games do we have before the All-Star break? And that's a really, I remember that, San Francisco Giants once upon a time won a World Series. They were 40-40 at the deadline. If you want to convince me that this is a similar team, like I can buy that because they've got the championship level experience. They've got the moxie. I think they still have a top flight, manager in Torrey. But for me, it's like you had like 2.5 more weeks. It's June 18th right now, 2.5 more weeks. And if this continues to downturn, and this ERA continues to inflate for this bullpen, you can't put a Band-Aid over this. At the trade deadline with guys returning from injured reserve, it just can't happen.
Michael B. saying in the chat, talking about some guy named Derek, the original host here of PHNX Dbacks. I mean, this is what it's been since the company launched.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
I'm familiar with his game. 3.5 games out of the wild card. That's where the snakes, Johnny's beloved snakes, are as we sit here on June 18th, as we're in the dog days of summer. There's just so many more questions than answers.
I know.
We feel like we've been through this before, but I haven't seen a bullpen that's been down this tremendous this entire ride. Like if they're going to be buyers at all, they're going to have to look for some arms there. But man, it's a tough day for Dbacks Nation, as we call it. Dbacks Nation here.
Do we call it that? Is that what it's called? I mean, like, honestly, we're sitting here after they swept the Mariners, and I misspoke in the opener. This is their first series loss since they were swept by the Reds. But they host Seattle, they host the division rival San Diego Padres, and they put together 2 consecutive impressive series wins. And you're like, I mean, think about the trajectory of this road trip now being changed after blowing that game last night. I mean, you had no business blowing that game. I know this isn't a post-game show from yesterday, but it's a hell of a lot more interesting to talking about this lack of effort today, 8-1. I mean, you were leading that game last night firm in hand, 7-2, and then subsequently gave up a walk-off in the 9th. And it's like, why bother showing up today? Honestly, like that felt like all the momentum was lost. They left a lot of men on base throughout the first 4 innings. At one point, this game, I'm gonna be real with it, it was 2-1, as you guys saw, and then the crooked number was hung, and the Diamondbacks basically waved the white flag. So I mean,
true, John.
Yeah, he just
to me,
ball.
It's like
Johnny Baseball.
That's my nickname here at PHNX Sports. I'm gonna tell you right now too, and I would caution everybody, like, okay, you get a very winnable game tomorrow in what is I expect Toronto to take the foot off the gas tomorrow, right? You need to go for that dub because
on the mound tomorrow. Who's even the starter tomorrow?
Ryan Nelson.
Yeah, Ryan Nelson. Is he just going to go a couple innings?
It's a bullpen game.
5.
Okay,
It'll be a bullpen game. But then listen to the schedule, because here we're about to throw dirt on them. This, like, if you're in a position, if you're in a position,
it's a little easy there. Yeah, I see where you're talking. Yeah,
you've got basically 9 consecutive games against the dog water of Major League Baseball. So I'm gonna put a bare minimum here. 9 games combined against Colorado, Chicago White Sox, Miami Marlins. You have to win 6 of those 9 games. You have to come away at minimum with a series win against all of them.
I'm going to go higher. You need more than that. Yep. Get it 7, 8. Like, you need to put together a solid 10-game stretch there.
The All-Star breaks July 13th here. So you've got a little less than a month to take care of business. But you end the break, reasonable. Los Angeles, Kansas City mixed in there. They're scrappy. San Francisco is going to come for blood. And then you got San Diego at San Diego, and they're going to be upset because of the fact Snakes swept them in Arizona. I agree with the chat. I mean, at minimum 6-3, but 7-2, 8-1 ought to be the expectation right now.
Unbelievable.
That's why it's hard to throw dirt on him right now.
Hey, I'm with you, man. And I thought that the tears that you shed last night on the post game after the walk-off loss,
it was emotional.
It was nothing short of emotional. Do we need to end this charade? Do we have like
what the hell is going on around here? What alternate reality are we living in? I've had to sit here and listen to this whole time.
Who's this,
Johnny?
Man? Who is this?
You're way too good at this, by the way. So you kind of make me sick. Thank you for being our musical chair host tonight. Thank you, Bo. Both have made me feel very irrelevant and very, very insecure about myself. So get both of them out of here because I don't want to look at either one.
Can I ask just one honest question?
Sure.
Can Kevin Stinkle, can that stay?
Oh, that's staying. Yeah, no, that's not going anywhere. Not with a 13.50 ERA. That's not going anywhere.
We love you, Derek. Snakes for life.
Much to Killer Rex's chagrin, I'm back, and I'm still here, and I haven't gone anywhere. And I'm very short in this shot. This must have been where Bo was sitting earlier. This is what it feels like to take the spot after Bo. But we have more to talk about. I get to kind of chime in here on the Arizona Diamondbacks loss to the Toronto Blue Jays, and it's definitely not that score bug in the corner. It was much worse than that, but we'll talk about it. And we are going to have the one and only Dalton Feely stop by to discuss this on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching my PHNX Diamondbacks, not Bo and Johnny's. Get out of here, you guys. Scram. Felt like I was on edibles watching that for a second. Of course, thanks to our friends at Pure Edibles, I definitely know what that feels like. But Pure Edibles is a great way for you to get over the emotional loss of a game like this, or the emotional loss of watching someone else do your job better than you. So check out Pure Edibles. They have a wide variety of doses and strains to choose from, and they're a full-fledged candy company. They offer a wide variety of candies for you to choose as well, including gummies, kicks, which are their versions of Starburst, chews, and hard candies. So check out Pure Effects. The effects of their Pure Edibles are listed right on their tin. Of course, you can see if they are an uplifting sativa, sleep time indica, and more. So of course, check them out. And yes, I think I would rather be enjoying Pure Edibles than watching this game, or quite frankly, even talking about this loss. But Pure was created right here in Flagstaff, Arizona at Noble Herb Dispensary, the home of Pure Edibles, and it is now made right here in Phoenix, Arizona. So check them out. Go find yourself some Pure Edible products from one of over 130 dispensaries across the state of Arizona. And like I said on last night's show that I hosted and Johnny did not host, Circle K pairs very well here with Pure Edibles. Of course, stop by Circle K, get yourself stocked up on all sorts of wonderful snacks, get yourself something to drink because it's America's thirst stop. Not only will you get all sorts of wonderful drink options, but if you are an Inner Circle member, you will save on most of that stuff. You'll get your first 5 Polar Pops for free. You'll get 79-cent Polar Pops every day after that, 99-cent Frosters. You'll save on Ghost. You can get 3 for $7 Ghost, and so much more. These are all Inner Circle member exclusive deals only, and you can sign up for the Inner Circle membership for free, which I'm having a hard time saying, by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. All right, well, welcome back to you guys. Welcome back to me, I guess, Damon. I feel like that little reunion between you and the Cardinals guys was too close.
What are you even talking about?
You know exactly what I was talking about. You know exactly how jealous I get. But this game sucked. I was happy to hand over the reins to these guys to talk about it. But we do have to talk about the Diamondbacks losing by a score of 8-1 in this one.
I think we also have to talk about our presenting sponsors today, Derek.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. See, again, those guys didn't obviously do as good of a job as I'm claiming they did, right? Because this show is brought to you by our friends at Bet365. Go download the Bet365 app now and use our code of PHNX365 when you sign up. Get yourself some bonus bets. It's also presented to you by our friends at Game Time. Go download Game Time. Of course, their app is very aesthetically pleasing. You can use our code of PHNX. You'll get $20 off your first ticket order. But I'm not doing this alone. I can't do this alone. I do have Damon here with me on the ones and twos, but I also have your guy, our guy, the one guy that can sometimes help me feel better about these losses. It's the one, the only Dalton Feely. Dalton, thank you so much for joining us. I wish it was under better circumstances. I kind of said that to the boys when I handed the show off to them, but the Diamondbacks kind of got beat in this one, kind of in every aspect of the game. If Torrey was managing a game like this and he came out on the Toronto Blue Jays side of things, he would have said this is a pretty thorough victory, and I think that's the best way to describe it. The Diamondbacks really didn't show up offensively. Eduardo Rodriguez was fine today, even though it felt like he was constantly in jams, and the bullpen absolutely fell apart. Oh, no sound from you, Dalton. You're muted. You're quiet.
That's on me. It's been that kind of day for the Snakes.
No, Derek, it's all right.
As usual,
little catcher interference on the mic.
Posey, what are we doing?
I don't know, man.
Damon, shout out Damon, shout out chat too. What's that?
Sorry, I just said yo. made it the most awkward thing of all time.
You know what? We're just in a bad spot for the Snakes. But listen, Derek, when you say Erod was the potential bright spot of tonight's game, I think that's kind of saying
a lot.
What it was like. Volumes. Yeah, he didn't look great. He kind of got out of a couple jams. It could have been way worse than it was. But he really was the bright spot. Like, the lineup did absolutely nothing. If you played on the Blue Jays before or from Canada, you recorded 5 of the 6 Diamondbacks hits today. So that's not great. And the Blue Jays basically just owned the Diamondbacks this entire game from start to finish. For the first time in a while, Derek, this was a game that was kind of boring, and not in a good way for the Diamondbacks, because usually they do not play a normal game. This was a normal game, but it was just a beatdown.
It was a beatdown, and it was just a lack of success in so many different ways. The Diamondbacks have not been very good offensively since taking game 2 of that series against the Padres. They've scored 7 runs over their last 3 games, which obviously is not how they can win baseball games with how bad, quite frankly, their pitching has been this year, right? They're in the top of a lot of categories offensively, and that's the reason why they did have above 500 record. Their offense has been doing it, but their offense has been held quiet over this stretch, and the Diamondbacks have lost all 3 of these games due to that. It's pretty much what we feared, which is if the Diamondbacks aren't generating 6+ runs a game, that there's a good chance that they're not going to be in a lot of these games.
Yeah, and one of the big stats that goes off of that, the Diamondbacks were top 4 in baseball in runs per game. They're the only team of 11 teams to average 4.5 runs per game, but have a negative run differential. So that speaks volumes to this offense being a very good unit yet again, but this pitching, their woes letting them down. Quite frankly, I mean, I've been on the show too many times bashing this pitching, but it just more and more like it proves to be true about how bad of entirely, not just the rotation, not just the bullpen, as a group, all 13 of these guys have been for the Diamondbacks. It's been a true letdown, and sure, injuries with Corbin Burns, Justin Martinez, AJ Puck plays a huge part in the struggles that the Diamondbacks have had, because you need some guys to step up and contribute in some facet, and we have not seen that yet.
Right.
I at this point, I'm getting close to having no answers, and that is a scary point, because there is there's lots of high aspirations and hopes for this Diamondbacks team in 2025, Derek, and I try to be a glass half filled, but I'm running on empty right now, as Jackson Brown once said. It ain't pretty.
Yep. Edward Hartman in the chat says this team is not consistent on hitting, pitching, poor bullpen pitchers. The team has blown so many games. Blow half of them, you're in first place, and that's something we talked about. Their 23 blown leads this season. Obviously, if they do not lead the league in that category, if they get mediocre bullpen, there's a lot of things you could say ifs for this team, right? Their offense has been fine and hasn't necessarily been the problem. Pitching, though, has been. And, I mean, again, today you have this situation where Torrey Lovullo might absolutely be to blame for this one going off the rails, but the offense really didn't pick up. So I don't know. I mean, being down 8-1 is kind of demoralizing, and I can understand the team giving up a bit there late. Obviously, you also have Corbin Carroll getting hit in the hand, which I'm sure took the little tiny bit of air that was left there and just let it out of the room. But I mean, overall, there was a point where Torrey had a chance to pull a Taylor Scott out of this game, and even Gonzo on the broadcast very much sounded like he questioned that move. It didn't seem like it was a good move. However, Ginkle didn't come in or Stinkle, as the boys have now grown to call him, didn't come in and do any better when he was, in the game pitching either. He's allowed 10 earned runs over his last 4 appearances, which are just 3 innings pitched, and he has a 13.50 ERA this season. So, I mean, again, maybe there was a different option other than going to Kevin Ginkle, but this bullpen is getting into that, into that area being taxed again. We haven't had very many lengthy pitching performances by the starters, which again has caused the bullpen to kind of come up short here. Today was, an example of that. Like, I don't really feel like if the bullpen doesn't give up a whole bunch of runs like that, this one really changes course with the way that the offense, was at the plate today. But, you also feel like it's hard to rally and have a comeback here when you're down by 7 runs late.
No, 100%. It was, I mean, and no disrespect to Eric Lauer. I know he's had a pretty decent year for the Blue Jays, a little bit of a resurgence for him so far in 2023. But him striking out, I believe, 8 batters, I think that's his high since 2022.
Yes.
That's a problem. That is a massive problem for this Diamondbacks offense. They looked a little bit indecisive, and we saw that yesterday too with Pavin Smith and Alec Thomas being 2 of the big culprits in yesterday's lineup. And today, it just seemed like the entire lineup, it was, I don't want to say second guessing, but just uncomfortable at the plate, and which has not been a theme for this Diamondbacks team. That has been the one strength of this team and this unit of, hitting the ball hard, getting on base, producing runs. Today, not even close to being the case. I will say, Derek, the one bright side, and I don't even want to consider it a bright side because this couldn't have happened anyway. Corbin gets hit in the hand, but knock on wood, Torrey does say post-game that x-rays came back negative. They are going through some tests. That is a huge news. That's some huge news. Hopefully it's nothing more than that, and it's precautionary they got pulled. But yeah, that would be great if Corbin is okay after getting plunked.
It would be, yeah, right. It would just be icing on this crap cake that was this game that the Diamondbacks get blown out, and then here late in a completely irrelevant at bat with a 7-run deficit, Corbin Carroll gets plunked in the hand, and of course I'm surprised it's not worse. I mean, Elise said it in the chat a little earlier. The only thing consistent with this team this year is disappointment, and she couldn't be more right about that. It's basically hello and welcome to disappointment. Now, we're gonna have 2 discussions. One is about the All-Star jerseys, which I need to get your thoughts before you get out of here. But the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is obviously there is not a lot of time left, right? We know that there is this stretch of 9 games coming up against teams that the Diamondbacks absolutely could beat in theory, should beat in theory, but that remains to be seen. If you're putting on your Mike Hazen fedora, your GM fedora, and you are evaluating this, I feel like it has to be a fedora. It has to be a proper hat. And you're evaluating this. What are your thoughts? And what does this team have to do to convince you to buy? And what does this team have to do to lose you? What I mean, like, I mean, is it as dramatic as if they come out of here going 4-5 against this 9-game stretch that you as a GM are basically saying it's over?
Well, it's first off, it's funny that you say fedora for the Mike Hazen hat because you have Johnny and Bo on before. Bruce Arians, former Cardinals coach, known for his fedora hat. So I love the connection we're making today.
Yeah,
That's
awesome. It's synergy. It's synergy around
here. But going to the question at hand, I don't want to say as simple as just losing these games and I'm out.
Sure.
I am getting very close to the panic button. And this Blue Jays team, I think it's a team that nationally has kind of gotten overlooked so far because we always make these jokes about them in the offseason about, they're missing out on their target, missing out on their guys in free agency. But this team, something's clicked with this unit. Like this group of guys in Toronto, they're playing really good ball right now. That lineup between Bichette, Barger, and Guerrero, that top three is really good, and they're doing it without Dalton Varsho and Anthony Santander currently in that lineup. Like they're playing really well. Their
I'm
rotation.
sick of Barger. I've had it with Barger after 2 games of this series. Let me tell you,
he owns us.
Yeah, it's impeccable between the walk off yesterday and his arm. Just I'm afraid to run on the guy. I do think he has the hardest outfield assist this year. I could be wrong, but it's top 3 easily early this year. So he's a good player, breakout player for Toronto. I think for the Diamondbacks, you got to look like a competitive team. And as silly as that sounds, like you're going to play Colorado, Chicago, the White Sox, and Miami in these next 3 series, like you said. You got to win 7 of 9. I think that's the bar. Even more than 6, 6 of 9, 2/3. I think you can win at least 7 of 9 of these games. Take a sweep somewhere. These are games you have to win. They lose me if they look very poor. Like it's plain and simple because these are games you must win. Bullpen, starting pitching, something's got to click on the pitching side of this team because the lineup's been producing, and you're going to have some cold spells in the lineup, and I'm giving them a little bit of slack because the lineup has carried much of the load early this season for the Diamondbacks, and their record would be way worse if it wasn't for this current lineup and how they've produced. But you got to beat Colorado, a historically bad team, though they're on a little bit of a heater right now. And the White Sox and Marlins, same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. It's not as easy as how many games do they lose against these teams. It's more about where are they, as we enter July, how many games back are they in the wild card? How conceivable is it that they could make that run? I think it should go beyond that, though, because I think this team can win games. I think their offense is good enough to carry them. And I think that they can, even win over this stretch. But the big letdown here is not being a seller at the trade deadline, not making the playoffs. But even if you do make the playoffs, right? Like there is part of this team that you have to doubt, without making any moves to add to the team, which obviously that's going to change, right? If they are not sellers, then they are hypothetically buyers, and you're going to add to some of the shortcomings of this team, including the bullpen, maybe the starting pitching, just based on what you can maybe make a deal for, what you can get, out there. I think that long-term starting pitching, you have to worry about beyond this year. So if you could get a guy with years of control, knowing that there's a good chance you're going to lose Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly at the end of the year, then you have that. I think bullpen help is always going to be needed. So there's no harm in going after a guy, whether it's a rental or on a long-term deal or, years left on his contract. I mean, those are hard to come by, but Mike Hazen's pretty good at that. And sometimes he's good at finding guys that aren't necessarily those marquee names that are the big ones that everybody's looking at and making a trade for those guys. However, somehow we keep going after the marquee names for free agent pitchers, and that never works out for us. I will say, though, that it's hard, right? Because you absolutely failed if this team misses the postseason and you fail to get back something for these expiring contracts that are most likely going to be players that walk at the end of the season. And not that I'm, doubtful of that. Not that I'm not completely glass half empty on here. It's just hard for me to really foresee any of these guys really coming back, considering the amount of their next deal that they could potentially get. Right. Maybe Merrill Kelly is a guy that might not be receiving long-term deals for huge amounts of money, despite the fact that his performance would dictate he kind of deserves that. So maybe he's a guy you could bring back, but it very much feels like, Zach Gallen maybe accepts a qualifying offer, but wouldn't really do it like a long-term deal with the Diamondbacks. Most likely qualifying deal could help him out a little bit to get that long-term deal with someone else. But anyway, I'm off on a tangent now. I don't even want to talk about that. I do want to talk about, though, that obviously they need to add to make this team competitive. And that's how I feel. Like this team right now is not a team I feel confident about. I don't even care if they win games. I don't even care if guys like Ginkel and Shelby Miller can lock down the 8th and 9th inning and start to be those guys that we needed someone to step up to be. It just feels like right now the roster isn't strong enough for this team to compete. Once the postseason comes around, should they even be able to make that?
Yeah, I'm trying to have a great poker face and not have frustration on my face right now because it's quite frankly the expectations we had for this 2025 Diamondbacks team were so high because 2023 obviously they're going to Cinderella run. Last year they won 89 games and I feel like they've taken a pretty big step back this season. And again, injuries have played a part. Of course, you could put that asterisk, whatever. Regardless, you're still playing 162 games, and it just the W column has not been representative of what this team should be doing. I'm a little bit towards the glass half empty, and the only thing I will say is I was on Baseball Today with Trevor Plouffe, and we were talking. Obviously, he's more of the the whole MLB mindset of it, where I'm more Diamondbacks minded for this conversation specifically. And he mentioned about the Diamondbacks being, they should sell, especially with how strong this National League is. And he brings up a good point because looking outside of the Arizona Diamondbacks right now and what they're doing, this National League is super competitive. And so comparing the Diamondbacks to the rest of the National League currently, as you said about this roster, it doesn't really stand out right now. They're not being as competitive. And I think at that point, I know Mike Hazen said that he wants to buy when you're in a position of where this team could be. You want to buy. I know we made those comments a couple days ago, but I think he's a very smart man. And if he realizes this team is outgunned, I think he will wisely make moves to sell. I don't want that to happen, but at the same time, if we're in a spot come the end of July where the D-backs odds at the playoffs are minuscule, I think it's going to happen. I think it should happen. It stinks. I think it's a realistic conversation that we should be having that we're talking about right now. But at the same time, if they go on a hot streak versus Colorado, the White Sox, and Marlins, we're back in. If I have my salads, they start winning. We're back in, Derek. So, I'm both ways right now. I'm playing the fence because the Diamondbacks could be playing the fence close to the deadline anyway.
Did you just say if I have my salads again? Like that you've abandoned your salads and you're not eating your salads anymore, Dalton?
Derek, I have bad news.
Dalton, I cannot believe this. I'm flabbergasted. How much sugar did you consume today? Did you eat cereal and Dino Nuggets again today in the same meal?
Okay, no, so you got to give me a break. I filmed in the warehouse today. I was playing blitzball. My body was sore. I needed the chocolate shake. I had a chocolate shake. I needed it. And that's on me. If you know what? Erase everything that was said today. I'll take the loss today. The L's on me.
It's like you're gonna let off with that. We've spent what 15, 20 minutes sitting here dissecting this loss, trying to get down to it, figure it out. Was it Torrey's bad decision with the bullpen? No, it was Dalton's bad decision with getting himself a chocolate milkshake and not eating a salad, and you know it. And you should have told us that at the beginning. Sean says, was it with a Mountain Dew? They want to know, was it with a Mountain Dew? Did you have a chocolate shake with a Mountain Dew?
I can't comment with
I knew it. Get this man out of here. We figured it out. Well, Dalton, thank you. Even though I wish, again, it was under better circumstances, but appreciate your insight. Hopefully next time we talk, we're not talking about if they can win these games, more like after they won these games. Is it time to keep building on this team? And is this team a contender now? But again, it's the situation Mike Hazen is in. What is this team even, and what do we do with it? And I don't think even you and I could sit here and confidently say that we would be buyers, as much as we want to say that, as much as we want fans to be happy, as much as we do believe in portions of this team. It's hard to really believe that this team can be a contender with just some of the way that they drop off and come back down to earth after some big wins.
They don't play normal baseball, Derek, for the good or for the worse. It's funny, even at the office, people have said, after the walk off yesterday, what the hell happened? What did Shelby do? Guys, this is every other game. It's either we score 5 in the ninth and win, or we give up 2 solo shots to lose a game in the ninth. It's never easy. I don't think people who don't follow Diamondbacks don't understand that. Diamondback baseball can be very fun and very stressful. You never know what you're going to get. And right now it is a very stressful stretch.
You're totally right about that. That's it's been a roller coaster ride. I don't know if I could say it's been a fun roller coaster ride, but it's been a roller coaster ride. I one time rode this roller coaster ride at Universal Studios that made me not be able to walk afterwards. That's kind of what this feels like a little bit. Like, I think I had fun at times, but now I feel kind of sick, and I don't know what's up and down anymore after what I just experienced, and that's the Diamondbacks 2025 season. Dalton, appreciate you for your insight and for stopping by, man. Thank you so much, and make sure to no more chocolate milkshakes and nothing but salads going forward.
Always appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you so much. I will be having a salad tomorrow, and Diamondbacks will be winning tomorrow because of it.
There we go. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. He's the best, except when he's not eating salads. Then he's kind of responsible for the Diamondbacks' losses. But we're going to take a quick break. And on the other side of this break, we're going to talk more about this game and the Diamondbacks losing to the Blue Jays by a score of 8-1. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Of course, you can go out and get yourself maybe a sweet treat. Not Dalton. He's not allowed to, but the rest of you, head on over to Wendy's. Check out their Frosty shop. Right now, they have a refresh on a classic. That's right. They have their brand new versions of their Frosties. You can still get the classic Frosties. You can still get the vanilla. You can still get the chocolate. But right now, you can get the Frosty Swirls that come with a swirl of strawberry, perhaps a swirl of brownie batter, which is out of this world. And the caramel, which I haven't tried yet, but I need to get my hands on that. So if you love Wendy's Frosties, you might love them even more now that there is a new twist on the classic flavor. They also have you covered with the thoroughly blended and mixed Frosty Fusions, which you can get the Oreo brownie, caramel crunch, and Pop-Tart strawberry flavor, which is just amazing. So make sure to check it out. Sean in the chat asked me, am I a strawberry swirl girl, Derek? You know I am. Actually, I'm a brownie batter baddie is what I am. I'm a brownie batter baddie. So whether you're a strawberry swirl girl or a brownie batter baddie, it doesn't matter what flavor you're craving. Odds are they got a Frosty for it. Clock in for a sweet treat anytime, including midnight or later, with Wendy's all new Frosty flavors. A refresh on a classic. Got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. And another great way to cool off is with our friends at All Pro Shades Concepts. Of course, All Pro Shade Concepts can help you extend your outdoor living space with a custom fit awning. They have hundreds of designs and colors to choose from to match any home. They can work with your HOA to ensure that everything is on the up and up, because we know how finicky those HOAs can be. They can also get you situated with roll down patio shades that can block out the sun and keep your patio up to 20 degrees cooler. They also make your patio into like a cool little room. You know, it goes from being outdoors to kind of like an indoor-outdoor little living room area. It's great. And of course, it also blocks out 95% of those harmful UV rays. You can choose from manual or motorized, and they can also replace and fix most old or outdated patio shades and motorized awnings. So check them out. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. Give them a call at 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com now to schedule your free estimate. And of course, with the Cardinals guys taking over this show, I'm all over the place. I didn't get a chance to remind all of you guys about our wonderful Spirit Week donation drive that we have going on right now. A big part of this drive is to beat all the other cities because we're crazy competitive and we love to do that. But we're teaming up with Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, an incredible group that we are proud to be partnering with to create life-changing mentorships for kids across the country. We've set a goal of $10,000 for all city, but man, we'd love to smash right through that. Right now, we are on pace to do so, and we would love to do it with your help. Of course, you can donate using the link in the video or description, and if you want to make an even bigger impact, you can sign up to become a big by visiting bbbs.org/allcity. Let's do something meaningful together this week. And of course,
I mean, here's the deal, guys. It's so simple to donate. It's right next to, this video right now. If you're watching on YouTube,
absolutely.
If it's directly to the side or right below, depending on if your phone or online. And, if you can just donate anything, $1, $2, $5,
everything helps.
I'll be real with everybody here. We were in last place out of all the cities coming into today, and we made a big push today. I want to see that change going into tomorrow. And that starts here with this show, getting any donations that anybody's willing to spend. So we appreciate anybody. Don't send super chats. If you donate and you do donate, we can see it on our end, and we'll read whatever comment you want instead of sending a super chat to us.
Yeah, absolutely. He's right. Yeah, just donate. Forget the super chats tonight. Let's get some donations for Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. I have had a lot of jobs in my lifetime. One of my best friends used to call me the pretender based on the fact that I would basically be switching professions all the time. I was a veterinary technician. That's how I met my wife. At one point, I was a after-school daycare site director, and I got involved with a mentorship program. And honestly, one of the coolest things about it for me personally is that there are two of the kids that I am still kind of a mentor of to this day. And one of them is married with children now. And again, this is confirmation that I'm a very old person. But the other part of this is just how cool it is to be in someone's life that, I mean, the impact you can have is immeasurable. And I mean, it's extremely rewarding. I hate to say this from to make it sound selfish for me, but I can't tell you how much I get out of the fact that there's somebody out there that believes that I had a positive impact in their lives and helped them get to a point where they are happy and married and have children and all of that. So very, very cool, very fun thing to do. So if you get a chance to go out there, be a big, I can't recommend it enough. But if you can help us out by donating, we'd love it. And every dime matters.
Derek, you want to put something on the line? Maybe we raise a certain amount of money by the end of the show, and me and you do something potentially.
What are you thinking?
I don't even know. I'm trying to conjure up something that would be fun. But
you know me, I'm always down. I still owe Kevin lunch for Circle K, and honestly, for kicking him out of here and getting us on a win streak, I happily buy that man lunch. But yeah, no, figure something out. Let me know if you guys can donate. Whatever. What is the goal? $100?
Yeah, I think 100's decent.
Let's get $100.
No big deal. But the Easy Wildcats podcast today, we beat that. We got over 150. Beat the ASU show in our little competition that we had against them. So
maybe we could get 160. Maybe we can get 200. I don't know. Do that, and I'll do the first line from the. Well, I don't know. It seems I was going to rap, but I think that we might get DMCA'd for that. So look at Piece of Yoshi wants me to die. I'm not dyeing any parts of my facial hair for reaching this goal. I'll tell you that much. But I'll tell you, maybe it's time to talk about Eduardo Rodriguez, despite the fact that he didn't have his command tonight, wasn't very good tonight. The results still were, and the results have been since he's returned. I mean, I know this one, you want to throw this game out the window and not even talk about it ever again, but it's hard not to acknowledge the fact that even though every time you turned around, it felt like Erod was in some sort of bases-loaded jam tonight, he still managed to put together a decent outing. You walked that tightrope, and it was a very, very tight rope, but he did manage to put together somehow, not a long outing, but, a decent outing. He threw 45% four-seam fastballs, 24% cutters, 18% changeups, 11% sinker, and his slider, he threw it one single time. Threw a lot of balls in this one, though, and that's what got him in a lot of the trouble that he was in. He threw 98 pitches in this one. Damon, only 62 for strikes. That's not good. And that got better as the outing went on. In fact, he wasn't able to finish the fifth inning, but I thought for a second there that he actually was going to convince Torrey to leave him in for the last out. He was selling hard. He was selling hard than our ad man Max sells around here to try to stay in for that one inning of work. Torrey pulled him, and of course it was fine. Taylor came in and got the one out of that inning, so none of those runs scored. But Erod, 4 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits allowed. He gave up 2 runs, only one of them was earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Not a big day for his strikeouts, despite the fact that it felt like he was overpowering guys at times. And Damon said it during the middle of the game. Like, Erod's so weird that he'll be absolutely shoving against one batter, and then you look and he gave up 3 runs, and it's been a bad outing. But since returning from the IL, that really hasn't been the case. Alex Rodriguez, Eduardo Rodriguez, different Rodriguez, no relation at all there. He's been pretty damn good since returning back. And again, it's not great. It's not a great outing considering that he was only able to give them 4 2/3 innings pitched. And I don't want to make it sound like that by any stretch of the imagination. But again, I think Elise said it earlier in the chat. He gave the team an opportunity to win. He handed the ball over to the bullpen, and the bullpen allowed, 5 more runs, 6 more runs? Yeah, 6 more runs. So not exactly what you need your bullpen to do. And then the bullpen was awful tonight, quite frankly. That's Ryan Thompson. He had his 1 inning of work. He gave up 1 hit. He was fine. But Taylor Scott, 1 1/3 innings pitched, gave up 4 hits, 3 earned runs, walked 1, struck out 1. Then Kevin Stinkle, 1 inning pitch, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 0 K. 13.50 ERA for Kevin over this stretch. And he's allowed 10 earned runs over his last 4 appearances, which just includes those 3 innings pitched. And it's just been an awful stretch for Ginkel. I think there's a lot of guys that the fan base kind of turns on. And I'm not saying that that's not the case now about Ginkel. I do feel, though, that people were rooting for him and are rooting for him and are rooting for a lot of these guys to not be bad, but it's hard to continue to watch them come into ball games and not be effective and to cost the Diamondbacks, a game. This one, again, I feel like this game, Damon, would have ended 2-1 with the way things were going. It really didn't feel like the Diamondbacks offense was getting going in any situation. I do know it would have been different if the game was closer. This team is able to score late. They are able to rally and put together, nice little comebacks. They've done it all season long. Obviously, this one, way too big of a deficit for them to come back from, and their offense just hasn't been cooking in these last 3 games. Like I said, 7 runs total in the last 3 games, and that's something we knew would be a problem. I said this earlier, but we knew if the Diamondbacks weren't able to continue scoring 5-6 runs on average per game, that that they weren't going to be able to win a lot of baseball games. And again, that's definitely backed up by tonight's performance. I would talk about the offense, but what offense in this one, Damon? Diamondbacks had 6 hits and 1 run tonight, 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. The big story, obviously, is that Corbin Carroll got hit in a completely insignificant at-bat. But like Dalton said there earlier, according to the postgame show there, the x-rays came back and they are negative. So that's good. But is he still hurt? Is he still injured? Will he miss time? I mean, I'm getting to the point that I think that any significant loss of a player of Corbin Carroll's caliber is going to result in the end of our season.
I was about to say that'll end the season. That's TOD on the season there. I remember when he did get hit, I looked at you and I said, "Oh, it's worse than it already was."
Right.
Like that's the type of game that this was. It was like, not only did we just get blown out, but we're gonna, we're
gonna lose our best player.
Totally.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I know it's dramatic to say that, but the offense, Corbin Carroll is a big driver of the offense this year. He leads the league in triples. He got his 9th triple tonight, and Corbin, again, those triples might as well be home runs. I think somebody replied to our tweet about that. They might as well, because Corbin almost scores every single time on those, and it's a big reason why the Diamondbacks offense stays hot. Corbin's been hitting home runs, and he's been getting a lot of triples and scoring on those triples. But tonight he was just 1 for 3. He did have a triple. He did score a run, and he was hit by a pitch, but that was his night. Josh Naylor also 2 for 4. Marte 0 for 3 with a walk. So, and that's your essentially your best night. We do have a king snake. I think earlier people in the chat were saying no king snake tonight. That's
not that king snake.
Not that king snake. That was our sweet boy from last night, our sweet hero from last night. I petitioned to have a heart emoji on there. Damon refused. Damon
I put Derek's the encapsulation of Derek crying.
Yeah, he put that on there. But tonight's king snake, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., 2 for 4 with the team's only single RBI, which is very sad to say. Tremendously sad to say that the Diamondbacks' only RBI here was from Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Their offense just a bad night overall. And again, you can see how a night like this, where the Diamondbacks offense comes up short with 0 for 6, going 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, doesn't allow them to be even competitive in this game. But Piece of Yoshi there in the chat says Ginkel has been awful ever since the trade deadline of last year. And it's weird, man. It's almost a similar path to what happened with Joe Mantiply, where Joe Mantiply was excellent for this team, and suddenly he just wasn't. And then it didn't really feel like Joe Mantiply ever got things back on track for himself. And that resulted in him being DFA'd by this team. It's unfortunate, but it does feel like Kevin Ginkel is kind of on that path. However, the Diamondbacks need warm bodies to fill this bullpen and to come into games. And I don't know how many more times Mike Hazen can kind of go to the I don't want to call it the trash heap, the bargain bin,
the dollar section.
Yeah, to get some of those guys that have been left behind.
Remember the dollar section at Target?
Oh, it was so good.
It was special, man.
It was special.
Vince McMahon gift.
It was like the dollar menu at certain fast food restaurants, which again, no free ads. It's not free ad Friday, but tier.
Remember the 2023 Diamondbacks?
Oh God, remember that postseason run? Remember when we embraced each other?
Yeah, that was emotional.
And remember when even after they lost, we were like, "This is just the beginning." We were like, "Yeah, they lost. This sucks."
I was actually just talking about that today with Kevin, and I was saying that I remember everybody saying that, and for me, I know I'm emotional, but I remember in the moment thinking, we're never going to make it back here. That was our shot.
You might not.
And it does feel that way right now.
Yeah. I did have a note in here about Jose Herrera costing the team a run when he interfered with George Springer's bat in the bottom of the third with bases loaded. A run would score. That was that second run that that Eduardo Rodriguez essentially allowed that wasn't earned. But still, that was another instance where Erod somehow found a way to get out of that inning. It seems inconsequential, though, considering the 6 runs allowed by the bullpen. Feels like the Diamondbacks could have even had a lead going into the later innings in this game, and if they needed to turn it over to the bullpen as early as they did, the bullpen was going to blow it. So I'll say at least this. At least we didn't see that, right? At least the Diamondbacks weren't up 5-2 and then lost this game 8-5. That would have been heartbreaking. Am I right? Especially after last night. Oh God, I just made myself sadder than I already was. Well, bullpen again fell apart, and I don't know what to do about it. I really don't know what to do about this team. But what we are going to do is we're going to take a look, I think, at the numbers on the other side of this break. I don't even think I asked Dalton about the All-Star jersey, but I am going to ask Damon about that. I told Dalton I wanted his thoughts on it, and then he brought up that he wasn't eating salads, and I kicked him out of here because I was just furious with him. But
couldn't see his face anymore.
Oh, I couldn't even look at him anymore. Chocolate milkshake, Dalton, really? It's like you don't even care about this.
I think I saw the chocolate on the upper lip.
Yeah, you got a little mustache.
He didn't even wipe it off.
Oh, God. Well, we're going to talk about that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, you know Empire Today. I don't have to tell you about Empire Today and what they do, but I can tell you how good they are at what they do. If you are looking for new flooring in your home, look no further than the flooring experts. These guys are like Bo and Johnny when it comes to baseball. They eat, breathe, sleep baseball. They do it about flooring the way these guys do it about baseball.
Guys.
Big baseball guys. You know, the ball knowers, certified ball knowers, and that's what Empire Today is when it comes to flooring. They are ball knowers. So make sure to contact them, because sometimes when you go through the process of installing something as major in your home as new flooring, you want the company that you're working with to be with you through the entire process. And their flooring experts will not only bring the showroom right to your home, but they will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole new ball game with Empire Today. You can pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space in your space. That way you know how those colors are going to look compared to all of your furniture in your home, your walls, your ceilings, your lighting, everything. There'll be no surprises with Empire Today and their flooring, and there will be no surprises with Empire Today when it comes to their pricing. You will get clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing, plus you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. PHNX listeners can receive a $350 discount when you use promo code PHNX. That is right, $350 off with code PHNX. Restrictions do apply. Visit empiretoday.com/PHNX for full details. And let me tell you, as a small business owner, I know you might have a lot on your mind, but hiring is important, and you can look to LinkedIn to be your partner with hiring. You want to find qualified candidates, and that's what LinkedIn will find you. And that's the big difference between LinkedIn and you having to find candidates on your own. You can post your job with LinkedIn's new feature that can help you write job descriptions and then quickly get your job in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. You can either post your job for free or pay to promote it. Promoted jobs do get 3 times more qualified candidates, and that's, once again, what it's all about. Qualified candidates, at the end of the day, are the most important thing in your small business. The quality of the candidates, and with LinkedIn, you can feel confident that you're getting the best quality. Based on LinkedIn data, 72% of small businesses using LinkedIn says that it helps them find the highest quality candidates. Post your jobs for free at linkedin.com/Dbacks. That's linkedin.com/Dbacks to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Well, Damon, I have said this before, and I've said this about other games, but I don't want to talk about this game. I want to just move on. Do we have numbers from this game? Do we have to look at those numbers? I know you worked hard on this. Those are not the right numbers for this game. I wish they were.
I got it all in the.
And then
this is too inside baseball, but I had it all ready for Johnny and Bo.
Yeah.
And I didn't switch it over.
Yeah.
So it was all yesterday's stuff on Derek.
It's all Johnny and Bo's fault. Let's just keep blaming Johnny and Bo because they come in here with their big brains and their good podcasting voice and their hot takes. And Johnny might be right. In five lousy minutes, Johnny might have convinced me that we'll be idiots to not be sellers, but that's neither here nor there. We have 9 games.
Was it just me, or was he actually making some legitimately good points about this team?
It felt like he was maneuvering from like it's like he would start out joking, but then he was so heated about what's been going on with his Diamondbacks that he loves these Diamondbacks he loves them more than any other snakes. He would drift right into some pretty hot takes and some pretty good takes. But I think some of the things he is saying is universal, right? You don't want to dwindle in mediocrity, which is what the Diamondbacks are doing right now. They are dwindling in mediocrity. They're dwindling in that 500 range, a few games below 500, a few games above. They're staying in the race enough. But that's why it comes back to, is this team a contender? How competitive do you truly believe they are? This bullpen is garbage. And they don't have the personnel right now for me to believe that they could win a postseason game or postseason series. So I don't know. I mean, from that perspective, I'm not saying blow up the team by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think anybody is. You just have so many pieces that are pieces that could really have a huge impact on another team.
It's a seller's market.
Right. But you're right. That's it. Based on it being a seller's market, you're not going to get nearly as much in return right now as you might, because there's going to be a lot of teams out there putting a lot of their best players, making them available. There are a lot of good teams still that are competitive in baseball. It's going to be interesting, but yeah, right. Like from the perspective of getting the highest return, there are guys right now that I feel like are going to get you more than letting them walk and offering a qualifying offer and getting a competitive balance pick. There's a good chance that Mike Hazen could turn this into, bettering the team for the future, and not necessarily just doing it for prospects, right? That's what I say is there's a good chance that they could bring in quality players that are maybe under team control, that can play at a major league level and aren't prospects that can help this team win in the future. But right now, the Diamondbacks pieces could be entirely too important to some franchise to change the trajectory of their season, right? Imagine what Merrill Kelly can do on a starting pitching staff right now that's already a good staff. Imagine what the addition of Josh Naylor, both with his bat and his heroism, his absolute Canadian heroism from yesterday. Imagine what he can do for a team. So I don't know. I mean, I
think that this is the answer, and I know that this doesn't like make anybody feel settled right now, but you have to hold on until the absolute last moment to see if this team has any juice in the tank to decide whether or not you're going to buy or sell with this team. And if they don't, and you're getting like a week, 2 weeks from the trade deadline, then start having those conversations, because like we said, it's a seller's market. There's not a lot of teams, especially in the National League, that are looking to sell. Most teams are looking to buy because it's a very competitive league at this point. And so it's like, yeah, you could probably get a king's ransom. So yeah, hold on. I'd say hold on until the trade deadline and then you make your decision. But also I want to see Mike Hazen like flip for guys that have control like he's done in the past.
Yeah, I mean,
and if he doesn't do that, then I'm not really feeling the returns, to be completely honest.
No, I hear you. It's kind of weird, but I've even heard that teams are more willing to give up major league ready talent than they are their prospects, simply based on the fact that they don't know what they have out of their prospects.
And if Mike Hazen is really good at that, or at least the guys who are like right on the fringe of being major leaguers. And I think that that's where you want him making trades, right? But like, I don't know if I want those prospect returns, to be completely honest with you.
I think we barreled right through the hour point, if I'm not mistaken, but if you are watching, you're gone already, but join us over at gophnx.com. We're keeping this thing going for overtime. And we are going to take a look, as much as people in the chat don't want to, at the numbers from this game. because they're gross. We'll only put them up on screen really quickly. Damon, throw them up there. That's good enough. That's good enough. Diamondbacks 0 for 6 in runners in scoring position. That's all you needed to know about that. Throw it up there real fast. Let's just 5 extra base hits for the Toronto Blue Jays, 1 for the Diamondbacks, the triple from Corbin Carroll, 224 expected batting average is 322. All of that tracks in an 8-1 loss. So I just want to get out of here. I don't want to look. I'm turning this show over to Johnny and Bo.
Do you want to look at the standings?
Yeah, let's take a look at the drunken orgy of violence known as the NL West here. Diamondbacks still 8.5 back in the division. I'm sorry, not even to care about the division. I think that, again, it's about where they stand in the wild card hunt, which right now they're sit at 3.5 games back. They have the Brewers, Reds, and Cardinals all between them and the third place spot in the wild card.
Phillies, the NL Central being ahead of you that's where it feels bad.
Oh yeah,
because you didn't expect that to be a super good division coming into this year, and all those teams are better than you as of right now.
Well, and as it stands, the Diamondbacks are drifting back to essentially being the final team that's still relevant in the wild card hunt. You have the Braves that sit at 6 games back. Then from there, the Nationals are 9.5 games back. Marlins are 10. Pirates are 11. The Rockies are 643 games back in the wild card hunt. So, again, it's dwindling down. But like you said, play hard. Play your best baseball as best you can through the end of July. Wait to make those decisions. Field those phone calls, Mike Hazen. Don't wait until the last minute to hear out what teams are offering you, but, make them sweat it out a little bit. Make them give you, an extra bullpen arm or something before you agree to anything. I still think that, one of the problems with the Boston Red Sox situation is wanting to get, Rafael Devers out of there so fast. They probably could have gotten significantly more had they shopped him around. It didn't feel like many people knew Devers was being traded or on the trade market. And usually that leaks based on the fact that you're having conversations with teams and discussing what the return could potentially be, right? They treated Devers the same way I treat like an old couch I want out of my house. I don't care what I get for it. I'll pay you $50 to come take it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that. I just want my garage back. I want to be able to park in my garage again. Come get this third baseman. Come get this used third baseman from my team. But he'll probably end up on the All-Star game, and it'll make everybody in Boston sick. Of course, when talking about the All-Star game, one thing that makes me sick is the All-Star jerseys this year. They have dropped Damon, and basically I hate them. I hate them so much. I know what they were doing. I know that this is in Atlanta. I know that they were going for an Atlanta Braves lowercase a thing, and I hate it. I hate it. I don't like these jerseys at all. These are not what the players will wear in the All-Star game itself. The players will wear their team jerseys. So that's fine. I don't hate that. I just think that this is bad, and I think we've drifted too far in the All-Star game jerseys being too particularly about the city that they're in and the franchise that plays there, rather than it being about,
or just make it a cool version of
a
where
Braves
the city
jersey
is.
Yeah,
like there's, I mean, you look at the Seattle jerseys from Corbin's first All-Star game. Those were unbelievable theme jerseys for the city of Seattle. Why not make this jersey like with the old Braves? They're going for that old Braves logo from that jersey, but why not have blue sleeves, a white top, so it looks like it's a vest?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that one. Yeah,
do the Hank Aaron jerseys as the style, but make it NL and AL related.
Yeah.
Don't just throw a version of the logo on there and go, it's blue.
It looks like it. Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like we're getting worse and worse as time goes on. I thought that the jersey combinations that they did in Los Angeles were outstanding, mostly because they had nothing to do with the Dodgers. It was like black and silver, black and gold, and it looked really cool, looked really classy. Most importantly, it looked like an all-star uni. You know what I mean? Like, it looked like, because they would have the same, the team logo, but it would be in gold, and it just looked really cool, right? Then you had Seattle, where that one was more about the Seattle Pacific Northwest colors and the Mariners colors, but it wasn't overt. It was just kind of, I like the hat. The jerseys were kind of whatever, but not, I didn't feel like at any point any of this stuff was too close to the home team, right? And in fact, I liked having some aspects of it, some details that were, about the city they were in. I think the All-Star game in Seattle had that cool like stripe on their hat that was like the teal stripe and the lighter stripe, and a lot of the coloring and stuff on that was cool. Elise brought up the ones from Texas last year, and yes, those were pretty bad. Maybe it's because I went to Texas. I kind of got brainwashed into liking those a little bit, so those kind of grew on me, but I did not like them at first. But they did get better. But these, I don't know. I don't dig these, and I think that there's definitely a different route that they could have gone. I also think that getting too stylistic that makes it look like a jersey specifically for the team from that city is maybe a step too far. I'm sure there's a lot of fans of teams in the AL East that will throw that jersey into a fire before wearing it. You couldn't even give it to those people for free, because you mean to tell me a Mets fan is going to wear a jersey for a player that he likes in his team that looks like a Braves jersey? Not possible. Not possible. In fact, I've even heard players say that when they see like one of their former teammates in like a division rival's uniform after being traded or after signing there as a free agent, that person was gross looking to them now. Like it was not a good look. I don't like looking at you like this. But speaking of the All-Star game, go vote. Go vote for the Diamondbacks. Did I say AL East?
No. I just thought Piece of Yoshi's responsive.
NL East, excuse me.
I just thought it. Not even just the one air. It was just like the way that you were, talking right there, and then I just look up and it's just Derek's lost it.
I lost it over an All-Star jersey. More importantly, I lost it over Johnny Venerable. He infuriated me with how good he was here earlier. So don't vote for Johnny for the All-Star game in any way, but do vote for some of your Diamondbacks. Ketel Marte, leading vote getter among NL second basemen. Corbin Carroll, 5th among NL outfielders. That seems outrageous. Maybe fitting. And Gino Suarez is 3rd among NL third basemen. So get out there and vote. The top 2 vote getters at each position advance to the second round. Voting is live.
You need to vote for Perdomo. He's 6th.
It's true.
It's egregious.
It's true.
It's a sham.
Piece of Yoshi says, I fear it's Perdomo over.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need help from, the players and the coaches to get him in. But that being, I just don't want to be embarrassing like we have been. The fact that our team captain, the guy who embodies the way that we want to play baseball,
lives and breathes it,
is 6th behind guys that he has no business being behind. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean, what we need Perdomo in the All-Star game. Can you imagine how good the interviews would be now that he's like comfortable? Now that this will be his second time making it to the All-Star game.
All of his boys are like All-Stars too. Like you hear him talk when he's like, yeah, I talked to my friends, Ketel, J-Ram, and you're like, oh my God, he's just friends with all the best hitters in baseball. Francisco Lindor, like those are his boys. He belongs there.
No big deal. Do we have some super chats to get to before we get out?
We do have some super chats that got sent in before we told them to send them to Big Brothers Big Sisters of America instead. I believe we've only gotten a $5 one, Derek, but I do think that, part of that is this loss, but, part of that is we didn't lead the show with it today.
I blame Bo. I blame Bo.
Tomorrow,
Bo should have gone stronger with it.
True. Tomorrow we're going to win, and then we're going to run up the Big Brothers Big Sisters donation in the chat. Everybody
we're gonna blow right past that $10,000 goal for sure.
Save up at lunch. $5 less at lunch.
That's right. Andrew Dang says a ghost of our hippo character floats in front of the words "game over." I know where he's going with that one. That's sad, but probably accurate. Yoshi says, "Why is Dalton abandoning his salad duties?" I have no idea. No idea, Piece of Yoshi, and honestly, he's wrong for it. Benjamin Hunley, thank you for your super chat. He says, I can't imagine how the D-backs could have done more to address pitching for the past 2 seasons, and it's unbelievable that it is so bad. Well said. They could not have. And again, this one isn't on the ownership group. It's not on the front office for not going out there and getting the talent. It's on the talent for not performing. it's on Torey Lovullo for not managing this team to a point where he's getting the most out of them. And yeah, you could blame it on injuries, but I'm sure even the team, Torey, Mike Hazen, everybody will tell you every team experiences injuries. Every team loses big players. I don't know if any team has lost as many players to catastrophic Tommy John surgery injuries as the Diamondbacks have this year, but definitely feels like that's it's a little harder this year. BComC, clearly, thank you for your super chat. He says it's OVER, trade everybody. I'm gonna miss our guys.
Back to being over.
It's really over.
BCSC,
really over.
Talking ball.
And then Stephen Mitchell says, watching this and pumping gas, watching your advertisement at the same time. No way. That's Inception. That's Derek Inception. That's too many Dereks. I mean, one Derek is already too many Dereks, but let alone two of them at the same time. So, but thank you for watching while pumping your gas. Be safe out there. And everybody should stop by Circle K and do the same thing that he just did. And tell me if you send me a video of it. I still haven't seen video of me on the gas pump. So do that. Of course, make sure to follow us on Twitter. I am at Cap_caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dog. Of course, that's with a DAWG. We are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you guys so much for your super chats, for your donations. We will be back tomorrow. Let's get some more donations for Big Brothers, Big Sisters tomorrow. Until then, try to have a good evening. Maybe watch something that's not baseball related and forget about this game. But we'll be back tomorrow with another post-game show, hopefully after a win. So make sure to join us for that. Until then, again, behave yourselves. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when Bo and Johnny are hosting.
We all silly like the mayor.